So yeah, this is a little thing I saw online. I had my own little things to this. This is I thought it would be interesting to have a conversation about the actual party lines in our government right now. Not so much, obviously we're like, well, there's a middle and there's a left and a right. But this is the way it kind of actually is, in my opinion. And I don't think I'm very far off. The actual middle is kind of where far right's kind of getting into right now, where the left has gone so far left that they're the ones with more radical ideas, in my opinion, and even the ones who are considered your father's Republicans or grandfather's Republicans, as Joe Biden likes to put it, is more on the left than they are on the right nowadays, which is why we got a bunch of rhinos and most of the Republicans, side with Democrats and things like that. And that's why Joe Biden likes it. But the thing about this is, even though the left and the rightish left all have more radical ideas, they are represented by a majority of our Senate and Congress and all this stuff in government. But the ideas and their ideologies is more minority when it comes to the country. While as the right, as it is with Donald Trump and MAGA and American First, is more of a small minority of representatives in the government, but the ideas that they present are more majority when it comes to the actual people in the United States and the voters. So this is kind of a comparison of both sides of the coin here. And I know some people may not agree with this assessment, but I think this is kind of the way it's more visually accurate when it comes to the way things are on political lines right now. The far right is actually, believe it or not, they say it's the far right. They're the extremists, but they're the more in the moderate, in the middle, in my opinion, with some of their ideologies. It's more stuff that we've had, for, hundreds of years, so to speak. I mean, stuff like, not having abortion until at the point of birth or after. It's more of, we should be, have limits, or they should be up to the states, which is what Donald Trump has said. He's also said he does not support a national ban. The left supports wide open borders. We support, border control and vetting it properly. Everyone is legal to the left, and the radicals on the left, and illegal should be deported if you're not here legally. If you're on the right, men and women's sports on the left. That's a very radical thing. When the sports have been separated by sex and DNA for as far as I can remember. No voter ID, which makes things easier to steal in the elections, which is why you would not even have voter ID to begin with. By not having voter ID, the only reason not to do that is so you can cheat easier. Although the right, they say paper ballots and voter ID with election integrity. LGBTQ normalization, including porn in schools, is what the far left and those on the left support. And those on the right, it's only about two sexes and genders, men and women, and there's no indoctrination of children. DEI initiatives, which over on the left, on the right is more about merit-based. The left supports higher taxes. The right supports lower taxes and higher wages. More government regulation on the left and less government regulation on the right. No more gasoline and electric vehicles only. No choice in the matter on the left. And drill, baby, drill with the EVs optional, so you can still have them on the right. Ukraine funding and supporting other countries with all of our tax dollars, while the right says foreign countries should actually use one of Joe Biden's favorite lines, pay their fair share. Inflation is through the roof with people on the left, and they're the ones who created it, regardless of what they say. They did do that. And on the right, it's about lowering your cost of groceries and gasoline. On the left, they believe men can have babies, which is actually anti-science, completely anti-science. But the right believes and only women can have babies, which is science-based and biological. The left are for censorship for ideas they don't agree with on social medias. They're anti-First Amendment and Second Amendment, while the right is pro-First Amendment, Second Amendment, pro-Constitution. The left is based on their policies and what they believe. They're actually anti-God, anti-religion, unless it's like pride stuff or whatever. A lot of people view that as a religion. That's okay in schools, but the 10 Commandments are not. So that's not fair, I believe. They also believe in weaponization of the DOJ, while the right is more about justice under the law. Some people would disagree with that, but that's the way I view it with everything that's going on right now. Forced vaccinations for those on the left, while on the right, again, voluntary. The left believes in communism and socialism, while the right is about capitalism and freedom. While the left is also weak on crime and they want to defund the police, the right is tough on crime, giving consequences to criminals, not letting them out the following day, and they're very pro-cop. So I don't know about you guys. This is how I view it. And I believe this is about as accurate as you could depict it, in my opinion. There's gonna be people on the left who say, well, that's not what the left stands for. No, that's what they make you believe. They try to twist words and try to say, abortion is about women's rights, or wide open borders is about accepting everybody and not being racist. It's about that, helping those who seek an asylum. But again, they're spinning things that's not exactly the way it always goes. But they love to tout that fact and say all this sort of thing. So what do you guys think about this? Sound accurate to you? Is this a pretty good depiction, a good diagram? What do you think?
I think you're right. I mean, yeah, I am so sick of the extreme.
And that's what the left is. It is extreme. Bill Maher, who loves to talk about how he's a Democrat still, he's always in the middle. He's even said that the left has gone so far left, he hasn't moved. It's the left that's gone so far left, and he's not wrong about that. That's one thing I agree with him on. And the right has gone right along with them. And those on the far right, like Trump, the America First, that's what most people in this country, I believe, want. And this is a good depiction of that. And those people who are in each of these different categories here are listed underneath as well. And the left loves to say that we got to save our democracy. But it's actually a constitutional republic. It is not a democracy. Nowhere in the Constitution do they even really talk about democracy. So the left is considered normal nowadays based by the mainstream media and things like that. But and at the end of the day, the right is considered radical, and they're the ones who have the more normal ideas, in my opinion. So just thought I'd throw this out there, let you guys see it, and let you guys form your own opinions on it. But this here is the way I view it, and I think it is the proper depiction of the way it is. So take it for what you will.
They probably took, saying the Pledge of Allegiance in schools to basically confuse kids into what type of government we had, because it's in the Pledge of Allegiance what government we have.
Yeah, the republic for which it stands.
To the republic for which it stands.
One nation under God, which they also didn't like.
Yeah.
I think it was Louisiana this week put the 10 Commandments back into schools. Good for them.
That's kind of another annoying thing, is that the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, and a lot of things that America stood for was all about unity. It was all about uniting the country against a common enemy, and all those things that we said and did at younger ages and stuff to just have some pride in America and come together. They're taking that stuff away because they don't want unity. They want division. That's exactly why that the left harps on race, and gender, and all that stuff. They harp on that stuff because they don't want to unify people. They want to drive a wedge between them all. And they might argue it's like, oh, but you traditional people are driving the wedge between people. And it's like, I mean, that may be the case in some small cases, but we were for unity.
Yeah,
we haven't changed. Yep. The stuff on the right is what people on the right and conservatives have been about for as long as I can remember. I mean, they have not moved. And you want to talk about unity nowadays, with Joe Biden saying all these things in his speeches and stuff, he's, like you said, actually driving division. If you look at these two lists, there is no coming together with this. They're so far apart. There's no middle ground here. I mean, that's why I've always said I don't know how we get to a point where we actually do come together as a country. I hope it does happen. But at this point, it's just so far radicalized, in my opinion, more to the left than to the right. The right is just more, they're considered far right because they're so far away from the far left. I don't know. I just thought I'd share this with you guys. I thought it was something that was worth checking out, because this is what you're voting for when you go to the voting booth. Whether you believe this list the way it's worded or not, they like I said, the left love to twist words and say, these are all good things, but this is actually what's going on. If you really look into it deeper, they say it's not, but it is. So take it for what you will.
It definitely is.
Thank you for checking out this clip from the Dragon's Den podcast. If you like what you saw here, please consider checking out our live podcast almost every single Friday night here on the channel at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And until our next video, guys, take care and God bless.